Salam alaikum, buenos dias, good morning guys. How you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing great. We got some rain here in Philly. Kind of calmed down a little bit, but roads are wet, slick, and you know how it is. Got to be very careful with the accidents in these times. Well, in all times, but Philadelphia, if you guys know where Philly is at, or you ever been to New York, Philly is like a small New York. The only thing is the stores are not open 24/7, but the rest, woo, is fire. Hey guys, I wanted to speak today about a question I was asked, and the question was asked like so. It was in a sense of, can I put a cup of water and dedicate it to my ancestor, and light a candle? And the short answer to that question, spiritually, yes, you can. You could put a cup of water, you could dedicate it to your ancestor in the spiritual sense, or we say espiritualmente, and you could light, like I said, a candle. And if you have a picture, you could put the picture. If you don't, just dedicate and light the candle to that ancestor, and you should be fine. It's what you're doing for your ancestor, the remembrance of them. Okay. And then I was asked, let me see if I remember kind of what it was. Let me see. I'm trying to remember the words exactly. Okay, let's try to explain how I understand, not how everybody else understands it, how I understand it. When you pass away from an old age, okay, there's a possibility that you would come back. People say reincarnation. Come back, and a lot of, well, I'm going to say what I believe is that you come back in the same bloodline of your family. I don't believe that you come back as a European, that you come back as, let's say, an Arabian. You know, if you're Latino and you mixed, you're gonna come back, from my understanding, is from the race of the mixtures that you come from, not from any other source or any other line. That's my understanding. I don't believe that I will come back. If I do happen to come back after I'm gone, I don't believe I'm going to come back in anything else. And even more, I don't come back as animals. I don't believe that we come back as any type of dog, cat, or none of that. But like I said, to each his own, and everybody has their own understanding, their own belief. My understanding is that you have three possibilities when you pass away at an old age, meaning that you are old already, like you lived your life, like, you know, your eyes are dim already, you understand? You could, you know, you weak, you're in that stage already, almost like a baby, you know, that you need the help, you can't really hold up yourself anymore, and you pass away. I believe in three stages, of three things that can happen. One, you pass away at an old age and you go back to that source that gave you life, okay, whatever you may call it. That's one. You go back to that source, the original source where you came from. I believe that, and that is your end. There's no more, you know, you stay there. Then I believe that, let's say, you could reincarnate again, meaning that you pass away and you come back to this realm, as the same procedure, the same way every human comes through. A man and a wife has a child, but the spirit of that child becomes that ancestor. The spirit that's coming in is that ancestor that passed away, comes back, and that bloodline and that lineage to the family comes back. And what happens? You as a human being don't have no recollection of it. But that spirit comes to live a different experience, to complete maybe something that it wasn't able to complete in the time that he had or she had. Understand? But that baby that's born with that ancestor spirit is going to live a different different scenario. It's going to live a different experience. It's not going to be the same experience that they lived when they first got here, or who knows if this was the second time or third time they've been here. This is my belief. In order for them to complete a cycle or something that was incomplete, that they had to complete it in order for them to return to that natural state of the beginning of where they come from or came from, that source of power that gave them that light, that push, that entrance into this world, into a mother's womb, then they will have to finish that. Then there's another one. Another one is let's say a person dies at a young age. A person gets into an accident. A person is killed all of a sudden without knowing it. It's like things that happen in split seconds. And you have family, you have children, you have work. You are so connected to this world and this fleshly body and the things that humans like, eating food, watching movies, doing certain things with their spouses, the children, the love that you have for them. You leave all this in a split second. You wasn't ready. You didn't know you was gonna leave. Your life was taken. No matter if you did something wrong or was bad, your life was taken. The whole point is that your life was taken immediately in split seconds or milliseconds. My belief is that a lot of those spirits are the spirits that stay roaming the earth. And the majority of a lot of these spirits, if you would notice, are the ones that you hear. You might see flashes of them. You see things falling, they push things and things like that. These are spirits. They are roaming the earth. Some of them, not all of them, are wicked spirits. Now when I mean wicked, I mean that not all of them are spirits that did bad things in their life. You understand? It could be a spirit could move something in order to give you an understanding that it's trying to get your attention. You might get afraid and think real negative about it, but it's not trying to harm you. It's just trying to get your attention to let you know that, hey, I'm here. You understand? And if you have a loved one or somebody that passed away, then you would try to find out if that's somebody from your family that passed away that is telling you, I'm still here, I'm stuck. You understand? A lot of these now malicious, now people that have done wicked things, murderers, sex offenders, stalkers, things that we look at it as very evil and as very bad, things that we say we could never do that. We don't think that way. You understand? Well, those spirits, usually are the spirits that some people use to do certain things, you know, and those are the spirits that are kind of how can I say, a little more easier to manipulate, because they already were of this nature when they were living, and the same way they were when they were living, they left, whether they were killed immediately or in a split second or whatever. This is how they were, and this is what they liked. They liked the worldly life. They liked the things that they did here in the world. They didn't care about nothing spiritual. You understand? So a lot of these spirits will be the spirits that people will use because they're easier to fool, easier to manipulate, easier to make a contract with, easier to use. You understand? Now, that doesn't mean that spirit that if you use one of those spirits, that doesn't mean that spirit only has the capability to just do the wickedness that it does. Because remember, when you are dealing with a spirit like that, there's always agreements that you have to do between each other. So you got to set parameters. But you will know that if you really wanted to work something, let's say negative, how people understand it, then those are the spirits that you will use. The Bantu people didn't believe in the way Western society believes in life and death. You understand? They didn't see the world the way we see it. They saw the world differently. Everything that the Bantu people did always surrounded what they believed. Let's say belief, family, people, land, government, everything that they did it wasn't like it was a separate thing, that, they, let's say, they practice their religions, their belief system separately, and then they practice, they went into the economy realm and only talked about, no, everything was nice in awe and in everything. Like, there wasn't no separation. Not saying that when they talked about politics, they were talking about, doing something with the medicine, but somehow, some way, medicine was already in there, whether it was verbally or spiritually or physically, in those talks and those speeches, because they used a lot of things to speak and to show and to represent certain things, so we have to always understand that. Now, what else did he put on there? Let me see. Nah. Well, yeah, that's the only thing I could give you guys right now as far as that. There's a lot more that has to do with spirituality. People understand the different customs and belief system, practice and believe certain things, than others. I believe that we are here to live a cycle of life, to live an experience, and hopefully that life and that experience that we are living, we end up living it to an old age, for we can have the capability to leave in an old age and experience whatever we had to go through and finish, and end up back to that source where we came from, that gave us that spark or that energy or that spirit that brought us into our mother's womb, to bring us into life. I pray that I don't stay stuck in a realm where I think I'm still living as a human, or I'm living the same cycle in that space of time because I'm too connected to the worldly life. I hope you guys understood what I'm trying to explain. Everything that you see here with your eyes, it's not just seeing it, it's experiencing it, it's feeling it, it's trying to understand it. The source of life here is more like a vibration. We might not feel it, but the majority of not all things vibrate. And with that vibration, there's energy and change. And it just keeps moving. Continuing to move and move, never ending, never stopping, never taking a breath. Salam alaikum, alaikum salam.